Greetings, YouTube. As you can tell from looking at this putty knife, it's seen better days, and that isn't the bad side. I'm not 100% sure why someone I worked with did this to a putty knife. We use putty knives every day at my job, but someone decided that they would leave it inside the mold on the mold surface for long enough for it to melt. Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me either. But it does give me an opportunity. Obviously, you can't use it like this. So this is a scrap piece of tool. You just throw it away. But I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to take the handle off. And then I'm going to use the blade and this piece of flat iron here I've got to make a new handle. Now, the reason I'm using this is I want to make it longer, because we have a number of molds at my company, which, since you're holding it here, you're only getting, that much distance to reach, and that's actually somewhat awkward. So I'm going to make the handle this long so that you're gripping it here and you're going to have that much reach. So that'll be just perfect. Now this hole may work for me once I get it cleaned off, but that hole is going to be too big because I would like to use a couple of pop rivets, and I want to use those because the aluminum is soft, it can't hurt anything in the mold, and it's low profile. And I'm going to round the edges on the steel and everything so that there's very little anything for the contact with anything. And I'll be using my Roto Broach sheet metal hole cutter kit for cutting the holes, because this thing is a marvel. And I'm going to cut the holes through both of these. This one I'll just use as a... again, I think I can use this hole. I think it's going to be big enough once I get the fastener out. And then I'll drill another hole here. I may clean it up completely and just cut off the end so that you don't have that excess there. Just make it look a little better. And of course grind everything so that it's the same width. Because I think, if I cut it off, I think this section in here may be a little bit wider than this sheet steel. When I'm done, it will not be wider. It'll be the same width. But yeah, that's my little project for today, is to get this thing repaired. Now, oddly, I haven't figured out if I want to put the blade on the side so that the bevel is facing down, or is the bevel facing like that? Because my first instinct is when it's actually in the handle itself, is it's in the middle. So it's pretty centered. But I'm going to have it offset, and I'm trying to figure out which is the best offset position. I think I may mount it like that, because that way you can come into things. Yeah, that's probably the best. We come into things that way. And this was square when we started. When we started using it, it was nice and clean and sharp and everything, but just the using it wears it down and makes it rounded. Alrighty, so first step is to strip all this crap off that blade. Well, here are the two pieces in their current state. This has been cut off. This is now the length I want, and the ends have been rounded and deburred, so that's all groovy. This is actually too small, so that hole was not the right size for those rivets. So I'm going to be using a standard drill bit here. I'll just open that up a little bit. Real easy to do that with the hand drill, and then I will set it up in the my drill press and drill the second hole. And once I get those two located where I want them, then I will mark them here. I may just clamp them right to the thing and then drill right through it so that I get exactly where I want them to be. That is my goal, at least. So next up is going to be to drill that out and put that hole in there for the rivets. So here we are at the drill press. Again, I opened up that hole with just a hand drill. And I've got my putty knife blade in my drill press, and this piece of steel I have here I picked up for a song. I think I paid, I don't know, $1/4 for it. It's a really nice heavy piece of steel, and I've used it to make a clamp so that it will firmly hold my my blade in place. And now I'm going to drill a hole, and I know that I've shown this drill bit off in a weapons build, this broaching bit rather, and haven't shown it off in a non-weapons build. So we're going to put that in here so people can see how it works. Because it is really, really cool. So it's going to have a little bit of noise. My apologies. It does such a good job of making a hole that is perfectly where you want it to be. Nice, clean. It's just a dream to work with. So now I'm going to use this to mark my steel and get my steel in here and do the same thing. And here we have the final product. Hoping I'm not covering the mic with my fingers. I'm holding this in my left hand. So we have the blade is now attached to my new handle. It's not the smoothest thing in the world because these things stick out, but if you're going to be going in like this, this is the portion that's going to be facing the mold for the most part. And it's really no less bulky, less bulky actually now than it was before. And I actually find that this is actually quite comfortable if your thumb kind of lands here, so that kind of the rivet kind of acts as a stop. And if you need to, of course, you can still creep up on that and make it shorter if you want to. But I really like the fact that if I need to, I can come back here, and this is very comfortable against my palm. And I'll be wearing gloves, so it's not going to be my bare hands. I'm inside a 400-degree mold. That's very comfortable, just like that, there. It's a little narrower than it was before because remember the handle did flare out to about that wide, but it's quite comfortable. And now we're going to give it a shot and take it to work and see how it works. And I, believe it or not, there are a number of other putty knives I've seen in my company that have had a similar treatment to them. So if I find this comfortable, I'm going to lend this out to some of my coworkers and see if they find it comfortable. I may make some more of these. I don't know. We're going to find out. Ooh, a nice little vibration going on there. I like that. But yeah, so this has been a Putty Knife Reborn